Hello students, let us solve some few more examples. So a sample of 10 numbers, gave a mean of 13 and a variance of 4. Later, it was found that the number 12 included in a sample should have been 21. Find the corrected mean and variance. This is the question. So what is given to us? Given n is equal to 10, x bar is equal to 13 and variance is how much? 4. Fine. Now it is said that later on it was found that the 12 is taken in these 10 numbers, while it is not 12, it will be 21. Means the correct value equal to 21, while the wrong value is what? Wrong value is 12. Now, as x bar is equal to what? Summation x upon n. So summation x bar with us, summation x is not with us. Fine. Or from this we will get, from this I can say here, from this summation x is equal to what? N into x bar or nx bar, n times x bar. So now we have n, but this is what? Incorrect. As x bar is incorrect, obviously the observation is, or the number is incorrect, means x bar is incorrect. Therefore incorrect summation xi is equal to 10 into 13. So it will be 130. Now correct summation xi, this is summation xi, I goes from 1 to 10. Fine. So correct summation xi is what? Incorrect summation xi minus wrong value plus correct value. As such we can find correct summation xi. So it will be 130 minus wrong value is 12 and the correct value is 21. So the correct summation xi is what? 139. Fine. Correct summation xi is this. Now variance is what? Summation xi square upon n minus x bar square. So summation xi square is what? N into what? This sigma square plus x bar square. Fine. So incorrect summation xi square is equal to what? 10 into 4 plus 169. So it is 1730. While correct summation xi square is what? 1730 minus 12 square plus 21 square, and this simplification will be 2027. Okay. Now once we get the correct summation xi, we have correct summation xi square, we can easily determine the correct mean and the correct variance. Therefore the correct mean equal to correct summation xi upon what? N. So correct summation xi is 139 upon 139 upon n will be what? 10. So this is 13.9, and the correct variance, that is correct sigma square, will be correct summation xi square upon n minus correct mean its square. This is what formula here. So it will be 2027 upon n will be 10 minus, we have correct mean now, it will be 13.9 square. So we get simplification of this, we get 9.49. Therefore the correct mean is 13.9 and correct variance is 9.49. Okay, this is our answer here. Okay, now let me take one more example of the same kind. Okay, so let us take one more example for the same kind. Example: the mean and standard deviation of 100 observations are 40 and 5.1 respectively. During cross-checking, it was found that an observation 40 was misread as 50. It was increased. Fine. So compute the same type of question. Compute correct values of mean and standard deviation. Now in previous one we have been found variance. Now here we have to find standard deviation. Simply it is positive square root of variance. Fine. So solution, what is given to us? Now here n is equal to what? 100. X bar is how much? 40. Sigma is what? 5.1. Now correct value is 40 and the wrong value, it was misread as what? The wrong value is 50. Wrong value is 50. Now, what is, already we have been explained it in detail. So let me write incorrect summation xi is what? N into x bar. So correct n into x bar, and that will be what? 100 into what? 40. So it will be 4000. Fine. Therefore the correct summation xi will be that incorrect summation xi minus the wrong value plus correct value. So minus 50, sorry, minus wrong value we have to do, minus 50 plus 40, and this will be 3990. Okay. Now, and incorrect summation xi square will be what? N into sigma square plus x bar square. So it is 100 into what? This is sigma square, means 5.1 square, it is 26.01 plus x bar square means what? 1600. Fine. So it is, the answer is what? 1,62,601. Incorrect summation xi square. So correct, or therefore correct summation xi square is what? This incorrect summation xi square minus the square of wrong value, that will be 2500 plus the square of correct value, that is what? 1600, and this simplification will be 1,61,701. 1,61,701. Fine. Therefore, or hence, now we can easily calculate the correct mean and correct standard deviation. So correct mean is equal to what? Correct summation xi upon n. So correct summation xi is what? 3990 upon what? 100. So it is 39.9. Fine. And correct standard deviation, equal to, is under root what? Correct summation xi square upon n minus correct mean square, this one. So this is what? Under root correct summation xi square is this, 1,61,701 upon n means 100 minus correct mean is how much? This 39.9, its square. So this simplification we get it as 5. So finally I must write the correct mean is 39.9 and correct standard deviation is what? 5. As such, we can solve these problems of incorrect mean and standard deviation togetherly using the results of individual series distribution for standard deviation and these. Fine. Mean. Fine. Now let me go for the next question. Now already all types of question we have been covered, but let me take few more examples here. Okay. So the next example is, suppose from the information from the information given below, that is what the information given, number, actually two groups are these are boys and girls. Their numbers, number of boys are 72 and number of girls are 38. So average weight of boys is 68 kg and this is 61. Okay. Now variance is 9 and 6. Now the question is so the first part we have to find, first thing, combine standard deviation of weights of boys and girls taken together. Okay, we have these things, so we can easily determine that. And the second thing, we have to determine that whose weights are more consistent. Okay, so now solution for this. Now let me denote, let B is for boys and G for girls. So the first thing, combine standard deviation is what here, you know the result for that. The combined standard deviation is what? Sigma C. That will be, now here let me denote NB, that is number of boys. Then sigma B square plus DB square, okay, plus NG and sigma G square plus DG square upon NB plus NG as such. So actually we need to determine combine arithmetic mean first to determine DB and DG. Okay, therefore combine combine mean is equal to what? XC bar, that is NB XB bar plus NG and XG bar upon NB plus NG. So it will be 72 multiplied by 68 plus 38 multiplied by what? 61 upon 72 plus 38. So this simplification is 65.5818. So combined mean is this one. Therefore we can determine the deviations, that is XB bar minus XC bar. So it will be 68 minus 65.5818. So DB is what? 2.4182 and DG is what? XG bar minus XC bar. So it is XG bar is how much? 61 minus 65.5818. So DG is how much? This is minus 4.5818. Okay, so therefore sigma c is what? Root of. It is root of. Now we have all the values. 72 into sigma b means this, sigma b square means this 9. Already the variance is given. So 9 plus the square of db. So it will be 5.8477 plus this is 38 into 6 plus the square of this one is 20.9929, okay, upon the sum of NB and NG. So it is 110. So it is, the simplification is what? 4.3639. Okay. Therefore the standard deviation of the boys and girls together or taken together is what? 4.3639. Now the second part we have to check which are more consistent. So for that we need to determine coefficient of variation for boys and for girls. So let me determine CV for boys. CV for boys is what? The standard deviation upon what? Now variance is 9 means standard deviation is how much? Is 3. 3 upon its mean into 100. So it is 4.4118% and CV for girls is what? This, the square root 6. So it is 2.4495. The standard deviation we need to determine. This is a variance. Remember this. Upon the mean is what? 61 into 100. So this is 4.0156%. Now the CV for girls is less than the CV for boys. So the weights of girls are more consistent. Here as CV for girls is less than CV for boys. So this says weights of girls are more consistent. Okay, as such we can solve this. Now the problem of consistency will be asked as such. Now again sometime the comparison between two works, comparison between two players, in many times while in cricket matches are going on or the various football matches are going on, then which player is more consistent than the other player, that time also we will use this coefficient of variation. Now at last I will take some small 1 mark question here so that you can remember these small things also. Simply 5 to 6 questions I will take, some small questions, not more than that. Otherwise the formulas are important. So we can ask the question as the standard deviation is a measure of now the options are, suppose first central tendency, second option is what? Skewness, third option is suppose dispersion, and fourth option is kurtosis. So as we know, the standard deviation is the measure of what? The dispersion. So the right answer is dispersion. Now the second question, suppose next question, suppose variance is the measure of, Now suppose the same options are there, so that time also the correct option is what? The dispersion. It can be written as such. The variance is also a measure of dispersion. Now the next thing, the standard deviation of data set this 7 7 7 7 7. Already we have taken this example. If the observations are same, the standard deviation is what? 0. This is 0. Now the next one, coefficient of variation is always expressed in Now already we have solved many problems. While solving them, the coefficient of variation is expressed in what? Percentage. It will be expressed in percentage. Okay. Now the next one, if mean of x is 10 and coefficient of variation of x is 40%, then standard deviation of x is. Now it is very easy to determine. Already you have a result that CV is equal to standard deviation upon mod of mean into 100. Now you have the value of CV is what? 40%, that is 40, and the sigma is not known. Okay, and the mean is what? 10 into 100. So we get from this sigma is equal to what? 4. So it is what? 4. Okay, again let me take one more. If the mean and variance of a data set are 7 and 7 respectively, then coefficient of variation is. Now again the same thing is here, coefficient of variation is. Now let me write the fill in the blank here. Again mean is what? 7 and the variance is 7, means what? X bar is 7 and variance means sigma square is 7 is given to us. So sigma is what? Root 7. So once we know mean and standard deviation, we can easily determine coefficient of variation. So CV is equal to what? This is sigma upon mod x bar into 100. So it is root 7 upon 7 into 100. So the simplification of this one will be 37.796. So here the answer 37.796. You can solve this one using the calculator and all. So this is about this chapter, measures of dispersion. In this one we have been seeing the definition of dispersion. Later on we have been seeing the quartiles. Later after quartile deviation, later on the variance, standard deviation, and at last the very important thing that to compare two different things, we have been calculated the coefficient of variation. Also we have seen the various formulas to determine them in individual series distribution, in discrete series distribution, and in continuous series distribution. Also the various types of examples on them, combined standard deviation, the combined variance, all these things we can easily determine using these formulas. Fine. Now if you won't get anything among these, so ask me either on WhatsApp group or in Google Classroom. So here I will say that this chapter is over. Now if more problems are there, you can do practice on your own for them. Now the next chapter is moments, skewness and kurtosis. So we will see that one in next video. Thank you.